King Harris has dominated news cycles for quite some time, and fresh reports now suggest he was assaulted by a group of attackers on the street. The big question on everyone's mind is whether T.I.'s son has finally run out of good fortune after repeatedly placing himself in risky positions that even his powerful family name could no longer shield him from. The footage spread like wildfire across all major social media platforms within hours. King Harris, the one-year-old son of Atlanta rap icon T.I. and R&B artist Tiny Harris, reportedly found himself on the losing side of a brutal street clash that left the online world shocked. Viral posts and circulating accounts claimed King was deliberately singled out in a violent encounter. For anyone who had been tracking King's path over the past several years, the news came as no real surprise. It carried a dark feeling of something long expected, because this is a young man who has used most of his adult years loudly announcing to the entire world that he is not the spoiled celebrity offspring people assume he is. He has repeatedly declared to anyone willing to hear that he stands firmly on business. He has said it directly to Waffle House staff. He has said it to his own father. He has said it during Instagram live sessions while broadcasting to thousands of viewers. And now, according to the flood of reports filling timelines, the streets apparently chose to put that bold declaration to the ultimate test. T.I.'s response, according to people close to the family, was swift and deeply emotional. The man who built a vast empire from Bankhead, who endured federal prison time, and rose to create a successful multimedia brand from the ruins of his past legal issues, was now reportedly facing a situation that no amount of wealth or celebrity status could easily resolve. The results of his son's repeated decisions were unfolding in real time. Sources said T.I. immediately began making calls, contacting lawyers and anyone with connections to understand exactly what occurred and what steps could be taken. But to truly grasp how King Harris landed in this dangerous spotlight on the pavement with the whole internet watching, one must go back and replay the entire sequence. You have to return to the very start, not only the start of the troubles, but the start of the deep identity struggle that has shaped his entire public existence. Because King Harris did not suddenly fall into harm by accident, he moved toward it with clear purpose, making noise and recording every single step along the way. King was born in 2004. That same year, his father had already dropped the platinum album Trap Music and established Grand Hustle Records. By the time King was taking his first steps, T.I. was one of the most dominant rappers in the game. The family resided in secured, gated neighborhoods. They had private protection. They enjoyed a level of wealth that most residents of Bankhead could only dream about. King regularly appeared on the family's VH1 reality series T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle, a show that captured the Harris household's everyday moments inside enormous mansions, riding in expensive cars, and living in a bubble created by fame. He matured with cameras constantly around him, surrounded by luxury and comfort, completely insulated from the very streets that made his father famous. And that contrast sits at the core of everything that has unfolded since. At some stage, King Harris made up his mind that the comfortable life handed to him was not the one he wished to embody. He refused to be seen as the boy from the gated community. He rejected being labeled T.I.'s protected son. Instead, he desperately wanted to be known as someone from the streets, and he made sure the world heard it loud and clear. The issue is that desiring to come from the streets and actually growing up in them are two completely separate realities. And the wide distance between those two truths is exactly where all of King's problems have taken root. The first major public view of this inner conflict surfaced in May 2022 when King Harris was just 17. He entered a Waffle House in Atlanta and became involved in a fierce argument with the staff, all because his order of pickles was prepared wrong. It was not a failed drug transaction or a dispute over territory. Instead of dealing with the mistake calmly, King started an Instagram Live and informed his followers that he was about to go inside and handle it. He entered the restaurant and launched into a stream of curse-filled shouting, yelling at the workers, insulting the cashier, and pushing the situation so far that one employee suggested they take it outside. King, still live on camera, jumped up and declared he was ready, but it did not end there. He stepped outside, yet kept provoking the worker, threatening to pistol whip him and warning the employee to wait until he returned late at night. Then he did something that perfectly exposed the person behind the tough guy image. He pulled out a thick wad of cash and told the employee, "Everything you make, I can pull out of my pocket right now." In that one instant, King Harris blended a street-style threat with a wealthy flex. He was trying to act hard while simultaneously proving his version of hardness came straight from his father's money. The internet reacted strongly. The backlash was intense. Social media users poured into the comments, urging T.I. to control his son. People commented things like, "T.I. needs to come get his son, and I know his parents raised him better than this." Others were harsher, labeling King a super-privileged trust fund kid pretending to be from the streets and predicting that things would not end well if he continued. T.I. eventually responded, and his reply revealed a lot about the father-son relationship. He went on Instagram Live and spoke about the event, but not in the strict way many expected. He mentioned that he and King's uncles had talked to him and admitted they were confused why King felt the need to argue back and forth with a short-order cook. He said he could not understand why his son would engage someone living on a completely different level of life. T.I. advised King to stay away from public disputes and simply enjoy the blessings he had. Many fans criticized that reaction, believing T.I. was avoiding real discipline and shifting blame instead of correcting his son. But the Waffle House event was only the beginning. The real explosion came later, in front of roughly 60,000 football fans inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. On the 26th of November, 2023, the Harris family was present for the Atlanta Falcons divisional game against the New Orleans Saints. Both King and Tiny had posted Instagram stories from the field and suite, showing what looked like a typical family day. King was filming from the sidelines while Tiny watched comfortably from the suite. T.I. was there with everyone. On the surface, everything seemed normal, but underneath, the same long, simmering tension was about to erupt dramatically. What began as light teasing between T.I. and King quickly turned into a physical confrontation inside their private suite. T.I. started pressing King about his repeated claims of having a hard upbringing. The Bankhead veteran asked his son directly, "King, have you ever woke up with a roach on your face?" When King could not say yes, T.I. made it clear. "All right then, you don't know what you're talking about." It was a harsh, very public breakdown of the street identity King had spent years constructing for the world to see. His own father, the man with undeniable street credentials, was telling him on camera that he was playing a part he had never actually lived. King did not handle it calmly. During an Instagram Live, the then 9-year-old was seen arguing loudly, repeatedly saying, "You capping. No, I know you though." The situation heated up fast. An unidentified person shoved King, who then shouted, "What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business. Why would you let someone play with me like that?" The phrase, "I stand on business," had become King's personal slogan, something he repeated whenever his realness was challenged. Yet in that luxury suite at a pro football game, surrounded by family and security, those words sounded empty even to King himself. T.I. delivered a line that spread across the internet for weeks. "You are embarrassing yourself and your family." The exchange then moved from shouting to physical action. T.I. put King in a headlock and told him, "Boy, you can't do nothing with me. Ain't shit you can do with me," while people in the background begged King to calm down before the camera stopped recording. A father had physically restrained his grown son inside a suite at a major sports venue because the son was losing control after being confronted about faking street credibility. Tiny then spoke up, reminding King that he did grow up with a silver spoon. King pushed back, saying he had spent time at his grandmother's house and got into fights as a kid. "I don't want to be in these gates. I want to be outside in the neighborhood," he said. He even offered to take the whole family to a drug house in his area to prove his connection, asking, "Do y'all want to go to the bando in my neighborhood?" before accusing his father of lying to protect his own public image. After the event, King posted a series of Instagram stories that were quickly deleted. He wrote, "I stand on business. Don't give a fuck who it is or who you are. Niggas can't play with me in my face. Not going for that shit, man, now." He also posted something far more honest. "If I'm a mistake, say it. Dad, stop making the world think you fuck with me when you don't." That raw line cut through all the tough talk and revealed a deeper pain, a young man not only fighting his father over street credibility, but questioning whether he was truly loved and accepted. T.I. addressed the matter days later on Instagram, writing, "CK, what this talking about? That family tie like a knot. We all we got for life." He also referenced a Goat Talk episode he and King had recorded together at ComplexCon, where their interaction seemed warm and fun. In that clip, King joked that he could play his father in a biopic because people say he acts just like him. T.I. responded with real fatherly pride, saying, "I think he can do anything he puts his mind to. He just has to get over his own limitations of himself." That observation that King's greatest barrier was himself would turn out to be remarkably accurate in the time that followed, because King did not slow down after the Falcons game incident. If anything, he sped up. The legal problems that had been quietly accumulating began surfacing in ways that could no longer be ignored. In October 2024, King was arrested after almost crashing into a police cruiser while pulling out of a gas station in his BMW. Officers stopped him and immediately smelled marijuana inside the car. They spotted a firearm on his hip. When they checked his records, they found an outstanding warrant from a 2022 case that included speeding, driving with a suspended license, and a DUI. The warrant had been issued because King never showed up in court. Body camera footage captured the entire arrest. The officer noted that Mr. Harris was cooperative and the firearm was removed from his hip without any problem. King was asked to step out, was handcuffed, and the vehicle was searched. Small bags of marijuana were found. He was taken to DeKalb County Jail, booked, and photographed with his Playboy bunny neck tattoo, clearly visible in the mugshot. He was later moved to another facility after the bench warrant was recalled. The timing was especially notable. Just weeks afterward, in November, King and the mother of his child, known as Big Nana, welcomed a baby boy. King shared the news on Instagram, writing, "November 5th, 8:09 a.m. Welcome King Jr. Time to take over." He also dropped a song titled "Dear Son" for the newborn. Here was a young man who had just been jailed with a gun and an active warrant, now celebrating the birth of his child and announcing it was time to take over. The gap between his actual life and the story he told was widening daily. His relationship with his father stayed rocky. By September 2024, another viral clip appeared, this time involving not only T.I. but also another rap legend. Footage showed T.I. and Boosie Badazz confronting King Harris and Boosie's son, T.I.'s son, Tootie Raw. Wait, Boosie's son, on a music video set. The young men were shooting a video with extras and guns around when their father stepped in. Boosie started by asking why they always had to include guns and suggested they make music about something different. King initially defended it, saying it was not illegal. But both fathers kept pushing, warning that even if legal, it still glorified a dangerous lifestyle that could cost their sons their lives. King later posted on social media to explain, claiming, "Y'all ain't never seen me post a gun ever in life. I don't even own a gun." This statement was curious considering officers had taken a firearm off his hip during the traffic stop only months earlier. Then 2026 arrived, bringing the high-profile T.I. versus 50 Cent feud that pulled King Harris even deeper into troubled waters. The very public conflict between T.I. and 50 Cent exploded across social media in February 2026. While the roots went back years to a failed Versus battle, things intensified when 50 Cent shared an old video of T.I. and followed it with memes mocking the entire Harris family. True to form, King refused to stay quiet. T.I. and his sons Domani and King dropped several diss tracks targeting 50 Cent, but it was King's part that went too far even for his own father. After 50 Cent posted an unflattering picture of Tiny, King responded with an angry rant that repeatedly brought up 50 Cent's dead mother in extremely graphic and disrespectful ways. The outburst was cruel, deeply personal, and meant to wound as much as possible. T.I. later revealed in an interview that he drew the line when he saw King wearing a shirt featuring 50 Cent's deceased mother. "I said that's enough when I seen that t-shirt," the Atlanta rapper stated. Even in the middle of a fierce public war, T.I. recognized his son had crossed a serious boundary, but T.I. also shared a complex mix of disappointment and pride. He said he took no pleasure in his sons entering the beef, yet he admitted he was proud they had defended their mother. "The one thing that I am proud of is that the women and children in our families see that it's a line of men that's here against whoever the fuck ever," he explained. He added something heavy given what came next. "I'm here to defend. I'm here to protect what's ours. I die in the streets about this shit." T.I. spoke those words as a strong figure of speech, showing his dedication to family. For King, however, a young man who had spent years trying to prove he belonged in those same streets, the words carried much heavier meaning, because T.I. had actually earned the right to say he would die in the streets. He grew up in dangerous Bankhead, caught charges, served prison time, lost friends, and still built a career, family, and lasting legacy. King had done none of that. He grew up behind gates with security at school events and appeared on a VH1 reality show, yet he is the one repeatedly rushing toward the exact danger his father worked hard to leave behind. And that leads us to the event that sparked this latest storm. Reports that King was attacked on the street by a gang. Here the story becomes tricky because this is where real events and rumors begin to mix, as they always do when a famous person's child goes viral. In September 2025, alarming claims started spreading on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook that King had been hospitalized following a violent attack. Some posts said it happened in jail. Others claimed it was on the street. Some alleged he needed emergency brain surgery. Others said masked people interfered with his life support after he was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital. The tales grew wilder with each new video. Fake last words went viral. Supposed desperate calls from T.I. begging for his son's release circulated. But here is the important fact. Most people scrolling never checked. There are no reliable reports confirming that King was ever jailed again after the October 2024 arrest, and no verified information showing he was locked up when these rumors exploded. The entire wave of content claiming King was jumped, beaten, hospitalized, and fighting for his life came almost entirely from unverified social media accounts. Many posts used photo collages, AI voice narration, and dramatic music, but provided zero actual sources from hospitals, police, or the family. TikTok after TikTok pushed these extreme stories with sensational AI narration, yet none linked back to any confirmed official report. Still, the rumors spread rapidly. That is how the internet works in 2026. A young man with enough genuine past drama makes any wild story feel believable, turning him into perfect material for fake content. King Harris has been arrested on camera. He has physically fought his own father at a football game. He has threatened Waffle House employees. He has publicly disrespected 50 Cent's deceased mother. All those real moments make fabricated stories about him seem completely possible. When people see a headline saying King Harris was attacked by a gang on the street, they don't think it sounds fake, they think it sounds inevitable. And that is precisely what the people creating this content rely on. But the absence of solid proof does not mean King Harris is safe. In fact, the opposite is true. Every actual incident in his life, every Waffle House blow-up, every Instagram live meltdown, every arrest, every public clash has pushed him closer to a world that does not care about his famous last name or his father's music catalog. As one commenter warned after the Waffle House video, T.I. better get him before they humble him. Another wrote, his parents have failed miserably, and at this rate, it won't end well because these things never end well. T.I. himself has hinted in his own way that his son is walking a very risky path. He has described his approach to parenting as raising his kids to be respectful, logical, reasonable men who do not act on pure emotion. Yet King has been anything but logical or reasonable. He has been impulsive, emotional, and constantly performing in ways that keep painting targets on his own back. The struggle meal moment from November 2025, when T.I. called out King for serving what he labeled a struggle meal at his own grandson's birthday party inside their mansion, proved the identity crisis is still raging. King was still acting out poverty while living in luxury, still holding on to a story that everyone around him, including his parents, has repeatedly told him is not true. So what is the real story behind the claims that King Harris got attacked by a gang on the street? The truth is complicated and not fully satisfying, like truth often is. The viral stories that triggered thousands of videos and hundreds of thousands of comments remain, as of now, unverified. No respected news organization has confirmed the exact incident described online. No hospital documents or matching police reports have appeared. The content seems to be part of a growing wave of AI-driven celebrity gossip that takes real drama and turns it into clickable fiction. But the bigger truth, the one that makes this story important, whether this particular attack happened or not, is that King Harris has been heading toward a moment exactly like this for years. Every argument, every arrest, every angry outburst, every time he yelled, "I stand on business" at the camera, he was writing a story whose only logical conclusion is danger. And the fact that the internet can create a completely made-up version of that ending and have millions instantly believe it says everything about the direction his real life is moving. King Harris may not have been attacked by a gang on the street this time, but the path he continues to choose, the decisions he keeps repeating, the dangerous world he keeps chasing, and the safety he keeps refusing all point to one thing. The only remaining question is not if, but when his father's greatest fear finally comes true. T.I. said it himself during the 50 Cent feud. He would die in the streets to protect his family. The question now is whether his son will force him to make good on those words, or whether King will keep charging into the flames until even Clifford Joseph Harris Jr. can no longer pull him out. 1. 4. S fast.